So Dennis, my friend, here's the thing. I did some Googling and I came across a link which really defines it very well. And what I've written in the title, religions have talked about menstruating women being unclean. All right?
Yeah.
But here's the screwed up thing. The first Latin encyclopedia, 73 AD, says, I don't know if I can show it all here. Let me just put it on the screen. Maybe I can. Hang on. Yeah, because people need to see this. I can't just read it out. Just give me a split second. Huh? I'm sorry. I should have prepped this before, but I'm doing it now. So what it says about menstruating women is really scary. It says, contact with menstrual blood turns new wine sour. Crops touched by it become barren. Grafts die. Seed in gardens are dried up. The fruit of trees fall off. The edge of steel and the gleam of ivory are dulled. Hives of bees die. Even bronze and iron are at once seized by rust, and a horrible smell fills the air. To taste it drives dogs mad and infects their bites with an incurable poison. Okay, so this is how screwed up humanity has been. But before I even go further in this discussion, I can guarantee you there will be comments saying religion calls it unclean. Now here's my point. Of course, if I cut my arm and if blood starts coming out, it is unclean. I could infect you with it. It is not clean. But that does not make me dirty or cursed or demonic or diseased. I feel humanity takes religious edicts and sees them in the worst possible light. Being unclean does not make dirty or diseased or cursed or demonic. Yes, of course it is unclean. You're bleeding, for God's sake. You are unclean. There's not. See what I'm saying, man?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna come out and say, like, my question is when was that written, dude? Like, what? That's
73 AD, man. 73 AD.
So, I'm just going to say that when you take and you look at things like Leviticus, you have to take everything with Leviticus. And so you can't wear clothing with fibers that have more than 2 fibers. You have to eat meat on a certain day. Like, there's a lot of things that go along with Leviticus. And so, like, they're just...
Well,
this was,
this was not the Leviticus. This was the Latin Encyclopedia. I was not quoting Leviticus.
But it referenced Leviticus underneath it, right?
Right. Well, the other references, yes, fine.
Yeah. So, I don't even really understand this whole conversation or concept, because here's where I'm coming from. One is that we are taught, let me rephrase that. Culturally, we celebrate a woman's fertility. Right? I mean, this is one of the reasons that biologically we choose a spouse, or a mate, right? Is because biology it definitely plays a role in that. So we're looking for somebody that's fertile. If fertility wasn't so important, how come then we wouldn't have women that literally get ostracized, kicked out of their families, made to feel bad, shame, all kinds of things because they're unable to have a child. So it doesn't make any sense to me at all. And listen, I'm saying, as a man, as an American, as somebody that's culturally different, as somebody that was raised Christian, I don't understand any of this. Because if we're going to take and celebrate fertility, then we have to take everything that comes along with fertility, and the menstrual cycle is part of that. It is nothing. It's just like, why is it? I have no problem at all. Male or female company, it doesn't matter. It's easy for me to go, excuse me, I have to use the loo. And everybody knows exactly what I'm going to go do in there, right? But now, for some reason, what I've heard from talking with several powerful, amazing women in your part of the world, is that there's such shame associated with this when they go to buy products that keep the society. Let's talk about being unclean. So use the products so that we are cleaner. to have to take and be embarrassed about buying those, to be forced to put them into brown paper bags so that nobody else knows what you're doing, it's just ridiculous, especially from cultures that claim to celebrate fertility.
Okay, you said you have to accept everything that comes with it. I'm going to word it differently.
Yeah.
You need to celebrate menstruation if you wish to celebrate fertility, because you know what? When menstruation ends, fertility ends. It is not something that comes with it. It is it. If a woman does not menstruate, she does not replenish her eggs, if she does not cleanse her biological, fertility system, then she has a problem. So if you want to go forth and multiply, if you want to have children, if you want a childbearing woman, she must, not she will, she must menstruate. You will check her for menstruation. You will check if she's menstruating or not. If she's not menstruating, she is not going to be childbearing. Right. Her reproductive system is screwed. So how can that, one indicator of her most crucial function in the eyes of the society, not in my eyes of the society, women have a lot of function. I'm being very careful here. In the eyes of some societies, a woman's most crucial function is to reproduce, yet the most integral and fundamental part of her reproductive system is a bad thing. That just blows my mind away, man.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And listen, I mean, I think what I'm referring to, I'm not going to speak about what took place historically. Look, we're in 2020 right now, and we're, we know a lot more than we did, let's just say 2,000 years ago. We know, like, we understand the body, we understand science and so forth, and it makes no sense to me at all that this is, to me, this should just be a non-topic. This just really should be a non-topic, the same as buying a condom, the same as people having sex. Again, please understand, FQ and I are not talking about, like yesterday that got brought up, what about having sex in public? Nobody's talking about that. I mean, we can always find, I love people that just decide that they are God's appointed devil's advocate in these conversations. It's just crazy to me. It's the same as this whole menstruation issue. Again, if we take and celebrate life, if we call ourselves pro-life, if we're really into the lifeblood and so forth, to me, it's an amazing symbol. We're not still under Old Testament law, at least in the Christian world. That's what we say. And so, like the things in Leviticus, look, there's a lot of things in Leviticus, so we still want to hold on to that homosexuality is wrong. But here in the United States and most of the Western world, we've rejected all of this stuff about the impurity and uncleanliness of women menstruating. So at some point, like when we know more, we must do better. And condemning women for this or treating them as though they're unclean, like we can do better than this. This is just nonsense.
Absolutely, man. And as humanity is progressing, we need to learn historically all over the world, with regardless of the culture or the country or the whatever, we have sort of made these delusional soft words and terms to talk about things that make us uncomfortable. Now, why do they make us uncomfortable? I fail to bloody understand. And we've been talking about these topics all week. Breastfeeding in public, buying condoms. Historically, all these things have been really weird. The societies have made it weird. And menstruation has been made very weird as well. Yesterday, I plugged in a book, and I really recommend people to read it or watch the mini series on Netflix. It's called The Red Tent. Very interesting. Now, Dennis, I'm not sure if you realize, but sanitary pad advertising actually shows blood in blue or other strange colors. What's up with that? And that's a global thing.
Yeah, all I'm going to say to this, like, as far as a reasoning, I think what we're trying to do, I think it's for the same reason. So, like, I'm going to get a little descriptive here. I think it's for the same reason we don't see brown stuff all over toilet paper ads. I think it's for the same reason we don't, we don't see people, like, if it's a commercial to stop nausea, we don't see people like vomiting. we don't show what the condom actually keeps from coming out, right? So I don't know. I think it's been illustrative. I think this got brought up the other day, and actually, before we talked about this, it's kind of why it was on my mind as somebody asked me that question. Somebody in Pakistan that I consider to be a very, very, like, just a badass, strong, powerful woman. And, to ask me this question, like, it was like, do they do this in the U.S.? I don't know, so I had to kind of look it up. And it was really interesting to find this. So I don't know that I understand the answer. I think I can see both sides of this conversation. As far as like, well, there's no reason to show something red. We know what goes there. Blue is just for illustration. Look, but I can also see that it's like, well, now once again, women are being subjugated and told like we're even cleaning it up for the commercials. I mean, in the U.S., like if we have a commercial and somebody's like washing their hair, like in other parts of the world, you'll see somebody bare-chested because they're in the shower. I've never once worn a bathing suit or underwear or anything like that into the shower or bath. So I think that we just get hung up on certain things that don't make a lot of sense. And unfortunately, they perpetuate in this particular situation with the blue versus the red. I'm going to go ahead and take the position that I think not using red, even though, again, I'm going to say my own biases, I find that to be distasteful. But I don't want to see a Band-Aid commercial where somebody pulls the Band-Aid off and shows the red blood. Look, I've had people die in my arms. I've been covered in all kinds of bodily fluids as part of my profession and what I've done for a living. I don't need to be seeing that all the time. So I'm going to take the side. I prefer the blue. However, I do think that there are some instances to where that can take and perpetuate.
You mentioned subjugation here.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, you mentioned subjugation. I don't think it has to do anything to do with subjugation. I'm not going to even go there. I think all these things are not about subjugation of women. I think it's about just historically finding things disturbing. And so now, if they showed sanitary pads with real blood, even I would say no, don't do that, man, because you don't want to show blood on television. The children watching it can be disturbing. It can go wrong. So showing real blood. I mean, I can show a pad with real blood. It's really not nice. But at the same time, if you show these funny strips and tests and blue, if they were done in a shade of red, I would say it would work better towards normalizing the issue. When we use these strange colors, we are running away from its normalization. But if they start showing actual blood there, then even I would find it disturbing, and I would not go with that. I want to take a comment here. This is a really, really powerful comment. Simi, my friend, has said that, if the menstruation blood is dirty, then mind it, you suck it in the womb as an energy drink.
I hope you're not waiting for a response from me. I don't even claim to understand that at all. I don't understand that. Here's the thing, and I just want to come out and say,
throws the whole argument out of the window, man.
An energy drink? I'm not.
I don't know the biology behind this.
Yeah, you don't suck anything up in there. I'm not understanding that. Hey, and I just want to come out and say, so from my perspective, where I don't necessarily want to see the blood, please hear me. When I watch a TV show,
I don't know the biology of it, so I can't really comment on that.
Well, I don't want to see anything. So, like, I don't want to see blood. Like, I don't want to see violence and blood coming out of somebody's head because they just got shot. Like, so for me, in my viewing, I like to keep it a certain way. So I mean, I think that there's some things in society that talk about decency and standards that everybody just kind of like, agrees to. And just by being a part of a community or a culture, I don't think that I think women should be celebrated, period. Whether they're fertile or not fertile. Like, it is a sign of fertility. Women should be celebrated and not made to feel in any sort of negativity at all because of this. And I'm going to come out and say, if I come to Pakistan and I need to take and go buy sanitary products, like I should not have to take and put that in a bag or anything else. I mean, like, what's the deal? It's not like I'm using it. So why is that embarrassing at all? It's the whole topic. I just find very, very interesting and curious, and it makes no sense to me. The same as not being able to nurse your child in public.
Absolutely. Let's have a look at some comments, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, pick one.
Yeah, Rafia, I don't think we're not saying that it makes anybody unclean at all. That's not it at all. It's just a regular part of the functions of a body. What I believe FQ and I are saying, just to clarify, is women should be celebrated. Bodily functions are just bodily functions, whether you have them or not. I mean, that's just the way that it is. So, hey, thanks for that. You're always a breath of fresh air, Rafia. So thank you. I was hoping for maybe an F word in there, though.
But there was a comment early on. I think this is before we mentioned. Scripture talks about women not being clean. So the grammar is very important. You can't say unclean. Menstrual blood, of course, it's not clean. Any kind of blood is not clean. If you're bleeding, it's not clean. What I'm trying to say, what we're both trying to say is, not being clean does not mean you're dirty. Does not mean you're unclean. Does not mean you're demonic or diseased or a problem. Of course, it is not clean. It is unhygienic. And not just that. In Quran, in Islam, tells you a menstruating woman should not pray. It's not because she's unclean. In my opinion, in my understanding, it is because she's already laboring. She's hurting. She's in pain. She's uncomfortable. And you expect her to pray. It is not because she's being ostracized or demonized. It is because, in my opinion, in my understanding, God is giving that room and comfort to women that you do not have to come to prayer because you are already laboring and suffering. So take rest. God is allowing you to rest and not saying, "Oh my God, you're filthy. Don't go to the kitchen." No. I don't see it that way. I see it as a good thing for women that they're being given that relaxation.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree. Coming to my message, I'm a big fan, sir. Saqib, thank you so much. That's awesome. I'm assuming you're speaking to FQ, so I'm sure that you've sent him a message.
No, he has an earlier message saying, "Please interview me. I want to come into politics." So that's next to the earlier comment. All right, let's get on, man.
Thank you, Kushbu. I always like to hear from our good friend Kushbu. Yeah, Kushbu. Here. Can I want to ask a question. So I'm humbly wanting to ask a question. Do these same things apply after a woman gives birth? Is there any, like, after she gives birth? Do any of these rules or anything still apply? Like, this is very foreign for me here in the United States. It's just not anything like I'm familiar with. I've read about it like in the Old Testament. So my question is really, does this apply? Do these rules about the fourth day and in the kitchen and all this other stuff, do they apply after childbirth?
I don't think they apply to that extent, but I think they should apply. Again, not because the woman's unclean. If you've just had a baby, for God's sake, give her some rest time. Give her some space. Give her the comfort. Don't shove her in the bloody kitchen.
Right. I'm asking if they're still considered to be unclean. If that concept, because I don't know.
I'm not sure, actually. Because again, I come from a family where none of this stands. So in my environment, I have no idea.
Very good.
We're very Westernly cool about it. So I don't know, man.
It's not. It really isn't anything that I know of as an issue here. And like I think over here it gets made into. I don't know that it's really that big a deal. In the U.S., what I find and what I find interesting is I tend to hang out with friends that my female friends, they would have no problem. Like if I made some sort of stupid comment or sexist comment, even in a joking way, they would have no problem like reaching into their handbag and throwing their tampons at me. So like that's like that. I don't know. You know, I came from a medical background. This stuff like I just don't understand people's aversion to a lot of these situations. So I know what the Bible says. I'm not familiar with what every other religion has to say about it, but let's see. Rafia. I don't know. If that's the case, I don't understand that at all. I mean, I don't see that as any different than any other type of...
They leave them to the leave them where?
Oh, okay. Here she goes. I'm not sure about that. Very good. Hey, thank you. Listen, this is just an open discussion, Rafia. So, hey, thank you so much. It's like I just asked FQ, and he's like, I don't know. So sometimes we don't always have the answers. It's not about like having answers all the time. It's being willing to ask the questions and to have the conversation. And I think that's what's really important.
And hopefully somebody in the comments can answer it for all I know. Okay, here's a good one. I think. Sorry, man. Sorry, no, you go ahead, man. I told you to do it, and I plugged in.
Okay,
you do it, man.
Can you still plug in their commercials, please?
Yeah, we talked about that just now.
Kushbu, I'm going to defer to you on this one, friend. To me, it's not a big deal. I don't care. Whatever furthers human rights for all genders and equality and good treatment of each other, I'm all for it. So this is something, again, like this isn't something that's really affects my world. So, but I'll support you in your beliefs in this. So thank you very much. I defer to your judgment on that. Thank you. Let's see. There's a lot of countries, some parts of India too, where girls are going to spend days in a hut all alone. Yeah, in fact, I have something pulled up over here talking about these huts, and I believe this is in Nepal. The actual article I have.
But that's because they don't have they don't have the resource of sanitary pads and modern stuff. So it's a place where you can rest. Again, we have to see it differently. We see it like it's being ostracized. No, they're not really. They're being given time to rest, man. It's time off. Take 5 days off.
So here's what this is. Here's something that's interesting. So I am the psychologist. I am the psychologist for a group of psychologists. So they go out. These are humanitarians. This is what they do. They go out and they teach behavior change in a humanitarian type of context. And one of their primary functions has to do with sanitation. And so they're teaching hand washing techniques. This is all in refugee areas. So they're teaching hand washing techniques. And the other thing, and I truly, coming a very Americocentric perspective where this is concerned, is one of the biggest things that they do is they distribute feminine hygiene products, and they educate the women on them, and this group actually educates the men on this. Like, this is why your wife or spouse or daughter needs this. So I never knew, just truthfully, I never knew that this was such a issue worldwide. So apparently it is, though. So again, I think it's good that we have people out there teaching this. I'm hoping that at some point, like, the stigma goes away. I do. I hope that the stigma goes away. Let's see if we got anything else that we can kind of finish up with, because we're...
There's one I want to take, man.
Yeah.
It's on a lighter note. I think men are more afraid of us when we're on our periods. You see change. We also know we change, but we don't know how to control. No. When you start your period, you become human again. It's the days before you get your period. It's the cycle phase. I'm very scared of that cycle phase, man. I ask, hey, just let me know 3 days ahead, so I'll just mind my own business for you. Dennis is going, come on, you can make that. What are you scared? I'm being truthful. You got to watch out, man. You got to watch out.
Don't listen to this jackass.
They become psychos, man. It's psychopathic.
You know what? I'll just come out and say it. I think I have what basically once a month, every 6-8 weeks, I have what I call my mansies, and I'm extremely unpleasant, and I feel chemically off. So listen. There's hormones that are there for a reason, and those all have to do with fertility and a normal, healthy, functioning female body. So for that, I consider it a blessing. So Asma, thank you so much. Don't listen to this guy. He's just a clown. And I'm just going to come out and say, I'm as far as being afraid of women, that has nothing at all to do with emotions or
PMS,
menstruation,
man.
anything.
Call it
has
as
to
it is,
do with,
PMS, man.
I know so many badass women that, like, literally they could kick so many men's ass, they just choose not to. So I grew up with all females, so that
PMS,
I have a
man.
different opinion.
Pre-mental psycho with an S, not with a P. All right. I think we have to give confidence to our wife so that she can talk to us openly, and that's it. Because I'm sorry, I would have this discussion with my daughters, my nieces, my children, my sisters. Women are women. It's a normal thing, man. We got to start talking, and that's the purpose of these conversations we have on Reboot.
Absolutely.
We want all of you, and thank you for people who join us on this show, on these shows, and these topics, because it's really important to start acting normal about normal things. Our problem is we are completely normal about abnormal things, but we're abnormal about we're really screwed up. Things we should not accept, we accept. Things we should not talk about, we talk about them, and things which are perfectly natural, we run away from them. So that needs to change in the society, man.
Muhammad, thank you so much. I love that comment. Absolutely. Give our wives, allow our women, allow women, allow wives, allow moms, let females to talk about this stuff openly, to where they have our support. Outstanding. Thank you so much. I think that comment applies across a lot of different domains.
Thank you, Nermeen. Thank you for appreciating, and thank you for joining us. Because
Thanks. Asma.
And there's one from Kufu, which is right.
Full moon.
What's she saying? Don't worry. I will tell my husband. He goes nuts around full moon.
I do too.
Yeah.
Hey, and it's been beautiful. I don't know how it's been presenting in your part of the world. The moon has been absolutely gorgeous the last few days, about the last week or so here in my part of the world. So unbelievable, beautiful.
Even tonight, the sky is really clear outside, and the moon is really bright and very. I saw that a little while ago. It's really beautiful. So anyone, wherever you are, if it's nighttime, go check out the moon. It's really beautiful.
Oh goodness gracious, Rafia.
What? Obviously.
Rabia, right on. Fist of power. I love it.
And Khushbu, if you can't take away my cramps, lower your voice when you speak to me, please. Khushbu, I wish women would wear a red bandana 4 days before they get the period, so we know not to mess with you guys. I would really appreciate if you could put on your Facebook, you could put a flag, 4 days, countdown, T-4. I'd be very happy to mind my own business.
And I'm going to just tell you, I take the approach that I figure that time can come anytime. So I mind my business and I mind my P's and Q's just in case, man. So
you're saying PMS is just an excuse for what's the normal state?
Sometimes.
Gotcha there.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's no different.
Fair enough.
It's no different than when I'm having a bad day and I'm like, it's the moon. it's the tides. I don't know. Just as humans, we're prone to chemical fluctuations throughout the day and stuff, and that changes everything. But the oceans are drawn from culture and religion. I think sometimes when. Bushra, listen, privacy is great. That's totally fine. We're not talking about the privacy part. It doesn't need to be discussed if people don't want to. We're talking about it being a normal thing. Like, it shouldn't have to be something that's hidden. Privacy, I think, is different than feeling like you have to be shamed and have to go hide, or you have to be private about something. So I totally agree, 100% respect everybody's wishes for privacy. I love my privacy as well. So thank you.
Okay, a supportive female health should have a reserve the right not to discuss it or announce it like that. Well, that's what we're here for, girl.
Absolutely.
That's why we're here. We'll do the talking. Oh,
Rafael.
wow.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
so sorry, ma'am. So go on.
I just have to get this one. Rafael,
Yeah.
100% agree with you. Walking away takes more strength than because, listen, I've had this recently where somebody literally needed their larynx ripped out of their fucking throats. Walking away was what I chose to do.
Okay,
And I know, Ralph,
like-
you can understand me with that one.
Oh, I'm sure she can. This is nice. My office actually mentioned, thank you very much. Mavish, well done.
Great, that's
I'm assuming
awesome,
this is not
Mavish.
in Pakistan for sure. If it is in Pakistan, I want to know which office this is. Fantastic. Somebody's normal.
This
a
is
fake
exactly.
account.
Oh, this is exactly
Oops,
what I was
sorry.
talking about earlier. The brown
Yeah.
paper bag is just another reminder of the shapes. I don't understand that at all. I don't understand that at
Yeah.
all. If I go to the pharmacy and I get Viagra, like we talked about yesterday, it's not coming to me in a totally generic bag. It's not meant to hide anything. Like, this is part of life. I don't think it needs to be discussed at the dinner table, but neither does sitting there picking your nose. This is just part of life. Why are we making such a big deal about it?
Oh man, these two comments, yeah. No, Mavish, that's not cool at all. It's like women bear their children. I mean, aren't you bearing your own children? Where did that come from? Where the hell did that come from, man?
I'm gonna just assume Mavish
Come
here
on,
is just
dude.
being a little bit. I think she's being a little sarcastic. You correct me if I'm wrong, Mavish, but I believe. And I will tell you,
You need to
Mavish-
pay us to put up with you, man. The psycho behavior.
Oh, stop it. Nobody needs to
Yeah.
pay anybody to put up with anybody. We simply need to focus on three critical things to make our lives easier, and that is loving each other, caring for each other, and serving one another. As soon as we conquer those three things, we won't even have a need to have these types of conversations.
That's funny you slipped in serving each other. We're the ones serving them all the time, man.
That's not true. That
and
is
here-
not true.
And here, come on, look at it. For men, it's usually like going on jihad for a week every month. Thank you very much, AQ. I agree with you, man.
Stop.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
And I just want to say, I'm just going to come out and say it. I've had a off camera or off. I've had a little couple IMs with Mavish, and I'm just going to come out and say, FQ. I guarantee you, she's
Really?
way smarter
Really?
than me and you put together.
Wink,
This-
wink, nudge,
this-
nudge. What's going on, man?
This is a smart. This is a intelligent, badass woman right there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mavish.
Yeah, just because you're a man, right?
Kushbu, listen, like this, this unscientific traditions. I think it's interesting that we're talking science, and yet we keep saying that Corona's not real, and we're going to deny the science on that. So if we deny the science on these simple things that are literally in our face, I don't know how. This is traditions and just stupidity. Internal
there
organs
is some,
has nothing.
No, lad, there is some credence to this. There is some credence to this. One, the credence says if a woman, you ask any woman, man, the moment they hit the shower, the blood stops coming out. The moment they come out, the blood, it's body trying to. In the olden times, if you had a bath, she said the word bath. Shower.
Yeah.
If you get in a bath when you're having a period, it's obviously not very cool. It can be very unclean. Now that you have showers, even then, if you have a shower on the first day, I'm not a woman, but I've been around enough women to know, it could prematurely stop or disturb your period. That is the only thing. It is completely bodily biological. There's nothing clean or unclean about it. On the first day, give a day's gap. Your body's already getting screwed up. Try to avoid taking a shower. Bina is not in town, otherwise I'd put her on and she'd probably endorse what I'm saying.
I've had a swimming pool in my yard. I've had a swimming pool in my yard for the last 15 years. And all of that time, I've been married, and there's been several people come and swim in my pool, and never once have I seen that. I'll just leave that. I'm not. I
It
listen,
could.
I
It
agree
could.
with
I'm not saying it
Kushbu,
would. It could.
unscientific.
Yeah.
So I'll let these days we have to choose where we get our science from, right?
Yeah. So Bushra, hey, You can lean on us. That's why we're here. We're here to take on the tough topics. On that note, the week is over. We would really like appreciation from all women out there.
I'm sorry. Freaking Rafia. Rafia, thank you. You are like, I'm gonna just come out and say, like, my day started off like, truthfully, my day up until this broadcast was shit, and I planned to just be vitriolic and like hyperbolic and just an asshole on this broadcast today. So Rafia, I just want to come out and say thank you so much. Kushbu, I appreciate you. Bushra,
I don't
thank you for
even,
your. I love
I don't
all
want
of
to
you.
even know.
Thank you for making me laugh. Thank you for making me.
I don't want to even know why you spent 2 hours in the shower. I mean, God, why? I don't wanna
Because
know,
she's
man.
trying to not be unclean. Good for you.
Yeah. She needs to wash her head, man. Thanks, Bushra. Appreciate it.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
The week's done. We've been taking some really tough topics. You may think it's easy to talk about them. It's not. But we do take them on, and we really, really, once again, appreciate all the beautiful,
Thank you.
lovely ladies here who come and interact with us, because really your subjects, your topics, and we're trying to build a world here with this show where we want people to, hey, how's it going, man? So we need to normalize these things. Anyways, you guys have a good weekend. Before we go, Irfan has just come in, so I'm going to take his comment. Dennis says, the moon, not sure if it's still held as a belief, but back in the day it was said that because human body is a large part water, that's why humans go crazy when there's a full moon, because tides go up and down the human body. But it is, Irfan, your off topics are already always welcome. Bushra says, appreciate. Thank you very much. You all have a good weekend.
Thank you so much. And here's a little pug love to have your weekend. Stay safe, healthy, and blessed, everyone. See you next week.
Oh, wait, Dennis, I got to take this, man. Hang on, hang on. Look at you, girl. Obviously, I color my hair. I've been doing that for 15 years. Yeah, and I love it.
Rafia, I hope
Good night and have a
Rafia, I
good
hope you
weekend.
have the best weekend of everyone watching. See ya.
Hey, guys. Bye, guys.
We'll see you.